What's up everybody, welcome to the RC Workbench. If I mention scale detail to you, I bet the first thing to come to mind is them little shovels and the wee sleeping bags that you can slap onto your rig to make it look the part. What about the mechanical aspect of things? I personally couldn't care less about making my rig heavier by adding accessories to it, especially making it top heavy, which really affects the center of gravity. But that's just me. I mean, do whatever you like. That's what RCing is about, is to do the way you feel. I'm going to go down into the mechanical aspect of things to make it closer to the fully blown vehicles. Now, if you have not seen the previous episode, one of the previous episodes where I modified the gearbox, now it actually contains some gearbox oil from the automotive range. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the front and rear axles as well. So it's going to be a bit lengthy, but that's my style, that's the way I roll, so I do hope that you enjoy it. So crack open a cold one and let's modify these axles so that they can contain some actual automotive gear oil. Believe me, it works. Right, well, now that we have broken down the front axle to its bare elements, time to rebuild with this aluminium case, aluminium alloy. Okay. So, the idea, of course, is to have everything completely sealed in this case. So just going to use this stuff which you've seen me use before if you've been following long enough on my other channel, my first channel, which was a while ago on the TRX-4. Just press these into place. I found that this here little 4mm socket works best to press down on the little bearings. There we go, drive it home, as it were, as far as it can go. Now I'm going to use, instead of using the original straight cut gears, so to speak, I'm going to use these helical gears, which I managed to source. I'm really impressed with the quality of the machining of these things. I don't know exactly how it's done, but it's probably well done. The surface finish is so-and-so. You can hear some grindiness to it, but that's quite all right at this scale. It is 1/18, mind you. The idea behind having a helical gear set like this is that it should cancel out the torque twisting, which these things has a lot of. So that's the idea behind this mod. are. Then retrieve the bearings. There we go. Ah yes, and there was also this thing here, the diff pumpkins as they're called, which these are made of brass, oops, and should hopefully participate in holding the whole front end down. Now this is going to need some fettling and adjusting, as they are parts from the same manufacturer, I believe, but there are some slight differences. So it's sort of a press fit, but not quite. Now bear in mind that this little case here is going to be filled with automotive grade ATF. That's automatic transmission fluid that you'd put in an automatic gearbox. I have done some experiments previously with some actual gear oil, but that stuff is really too thick for mechanisms at this scale, and so generates too much drag, and so it's no good. So ATF is a good compromise. The gears are made of metal anyway, so that's perfect. And it's in an alloy case, so just like in the real world. Just deburring the edges here. Oh, there we go. I'd like to see if I can get a press fit. Yeah. Going to need a little bit of adjusting. There you go, yep, the corners. Don't know if you can see it, but the corners have gone shiny. And here as well, there's a high spot here. I'll grab my file. Lower that part. And this up here. Try again. This is brass, so it's fairly easy to work with and modify the characteristics. Just be careful. And bear in mind that it generates a lot of fine particles. There we go. It's almost a nice fit on that end, and I'm going to have to do the same on the other side apparently. It's going to take a while. Right, so I managed to press it in the vise, so that's a good test fit, I would say. Now hopefully I should be able to push it out. Yeah, okay. Yes, that works. Okay, so I can take it out without too much of a hassle. Right, so I'm going to do a first trial, like test fit, as it were, without putting any jointing compound. And I'm just going to check that it is properly centered, because as this gear is helical, you need to adjust the meshing. Now on a real car, it takes quite a while. to do that. And I just hope that this is going to be decently machined, because you have to mesh it in this direction and in that direction as well. So you're going to adjust this with shims on either side of the differential case. At least that's how it's done on a real car. Now, I'm not entirely sure that the cone here is decently cut. Looks like they're not exactly the same, but I don't know. We'll see. Make sure that there's no dust or grit in there. There we go. So that's in. And place the other end, making sure that they're meshing together. There we go. Now I shall go back to the vise. Oh, that's not necessarily anymore. There we go. So if I pull on the shaft, on the input shaft here, there is a tiny bit of play. That's quite all right. And just checking that it rotates freely. Yep, going forwards is fine. In reverse, however, got a bit of a drag to it, but it looks decently centered. I'll say. I think that's going to work. Okay, see if I can push it out. Okay, yeah, so no adjustment needed really. So now I'm just going to clean everything up, make sure there's no grit left. And I could actually drill a hole in here, I think. Yep, I could drill a tiny hole, drill and tap a hole in the front and get a tiny screw. But I don't think I'm going to take it that far, at least not this time. Not much material down there. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. And I'll fill the case with oil afterwards. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these things. These are for the C blocks, don't know what that's for. Is there a left and a right? I think they're the same. These are made of brass as well. There we go. Yep, I'm going to definitely seal those off. That is a certainty. So, no, they look identical. Just give this a whiz of brake cleaner. Make sure everything is nice and dry. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have these caster blocks. So they need to be shimmed as well. Okay. So let's go with sealing these off. nice. I should have done the bearing at the same time. Okay, live and learn. There we go. Press the bearing in. Like so. One and two screws, there we are. Just barely nip these up, they don't need to be super tight. There we go. Now I can remove the excess. Like so. And again, just to make sure, I get another shop towel. Get the outer end nice and clean. That's one side done. Okay. And do the same to the other side pretty much. Right. So I'm going to transfer the steering knuckles and the parts from one to the next. Pull this out. You have to be careful not to scratch the bearing surface. There we go, just get under it right here and work your way around. It'll eventually just pop out. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I can put that on the side. This a bit of a clean, make sure there are no burrs. Okay, that's fine. Now is a perfect opportunity to give this part a clean. It's funny because it's exactly the same as the TRX-4 110 counterpart. So you just need to pull the pin out. And there we go. Give that a good clean. There we are. Okay, nice. So, to give it a tiny drop of oil. There we go. Oop, make sure that goes through. And a little drop of oil in here as well. Don't go wild. You don't want to put too much oil in there. Make sure the hole is aligned. Ah. There we go. Now you don't want to have too much oil in here because oil attracts dirt inevitably. So once you've done that, make sure to wipe the excess out because yeah, otherwise it's going to attract dirt in there and you really don't want that. This is part of maintenance pretty much, like it's a servicing item. So this is something that needs to be done every now and then. There we go. Funny because a pin, there you go. Yes, okay, so I can place the bearing, there we go. Insert that like so, that's fine. Insert it in the caster block, as it were. This is also made of brass. I like the finish of these, they're nice, they're black, and I like that. I don't like all of them fancy colored ones. That's just personal taste, really. It's entirely up to you. Okay, and then put the little pin through here, and the little hex, of which I think I can make a set of these in brass as well. They don't look too complicated. And then just press that in. Okay, so there is a right and left side. What you need to bear in mind is the thicker part here has to go on the upper side. So if we're facing the front of the car like so, this definitely goes on this side right here. So you're going to want to insert the differential first. There we go. We don't need that. So I'm going to place the pinion in there. I would need a little set of axle stands. That would be perfect. And I'm going to already prepare the gasketing compound in here, which I'm going to put all the way across, and prepare the screws as well, which are here. These are my little screws. There we go. These are for later. So here we go. Yet another stint, shall I say, with this gasketing compound. I think I'll take this out just for now, make things easier. Really need to get in there. Corners especially. How are you liking the videos so far? Do let me know. If you like this kind of stuff, then make sure to drop a like, because it lets me know that this stuff is interesting to you and I can keep producing them. If not, just let me know in the comments. Very difficult to get a new channel off the ground. Okay, so that's done. Just put that down there. Right, so you need to try to get this right. First go. So I'm going to put, as I mentioned, I'm going to put this ATF Dexron 2D into the differential. I've already squeezed a bit into this syringe, of which I've blunted the tip off. Don't be an idiot. And let's see, I'll just place it like so, just a few drops. That should be enough. It's bathing in it, so there we are. Should be fine. And I got it the wrong way around. Okay, no, don't mind me. Voila. Ah, shit. Just dropped in. Okay. We'll see. Okay, I'll just pop this in the vise, I think, or can I just squash it together? I think that's good. Make sure these things can fit. Are we in? Yes. And on the other side. Yep, but they're upside down. Okay. There we go. That one is in as well. Just get this out. Put it back the right way up. Fine. Good, good, good. Doing stuff. Right. Now, give it a wipe. There we go. Highly likely that this is never going to work. It's just for the fun of it. Bear in mind. Okay, so need to get some brake cleaner. Clean this up a bit. And then get the little bolts to hold the diff cover down. Just dip them in the sealing compound. Screw them in, nip them up tight. Well, tight. By tight I just mean nip them up really. And last but not least, this one here. Okay, wipe it all down. Make sure all the excess is gone. And that's pretty much it. Wipe this down, wipe this down, wipe this down. There we go. And then grab these. So this goes, nope, goes to the front. There we are. So you need to place one of these little bearings, one of these screws. Man, this is fiddly. Tiny, tiny, tiny. All right. And we now have a fully sealed front axle, which actually contains some automotive grade lubricant. How cool is that? Time to put this thing back onto the car, do the same with the rear, and go for a test drive. What do you say? So that's pretty much all there is to it. Some gasketing compound, a nail, and that's pretty much it really. And a file, and obviously, you know, all the stuff that you need to make a workshop run. Don't get me wrong, you do need some basic tools. But that was huge fun. A good afternoon spent on the bench. It's raining outside, and you know, it's just good fun to being able to mess around with stuff like that and to actually make it work. So I'm very happy and proud to know that my little TRX-4M, which is a 1/18 scale rig, both front and rear axles and the gearbox, I remind you, contain some automotive grade gear oil, which is absolutely fantastic, unheard of as it were. I don't know, Scale Builders Guild, what do you think of that, people? It's all nice messing around with all your little scale shovels and whatever other things you slap on your rigs to make them heavier. But how about, you know, the mechanical aspect of things? I really do hope that you enjoyed this video and that you had a good time watching it. So that's all from me for now. I'm definitely going to go out and test drive this little rig with these mods, make sure they work properly and that they are up to scratch. And I will be posting an update about that in a later video. So thank you all so much for watching. It's been good to have you, and I'll be catching you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody. Goodbye.